Hey everybody, it's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, October 24th, 2021. Top story tonight, Christine Williams says that Chancellor got blowed up. It's about time! Now over to Chuck with the weather. Well, hey, Allie, there's a gorgeous, crisp autumn breeze here in Tuscany. And let me tell you, the view from the Newman heated terrace is just gorgeous. There's a bit of a strange odor coming up from the cellar, but it's probably just a dead rat. Can you believe it? Chancellor and Jesse Gaines both presumed dead in the very same week. Of course, since the presumption is that Adam killed Jesse Gaines, then I think we can presume also that he probably bombed Chance's location too, don't you think? Nah. I just can't quite see Adam walking down into the palazzo cellar, opening up the door where Jesse is trapped, and then just lunging at Jesse and gnawing his throat out like he did to AJ Montalvo. Like the hungry, wild teen wolf vampire that he is. Whatever, we all know that Ashland was the last one that we saw with Jesse. So if anything happened to that guy, which I'm not sure that it has happened, Ashland's the one that did it, right? But you know, at the end of all of this, whatever happened to Jesse, the answer to whatever happened to Jesse is going to be a letdown. So don't make yourself too crazy spinning wild theories, because we all know we're going to find out that, like, Adam used one of his Vegas connections to get this guy a new identity and get him out of town. Whatever the answer is to what happened to Jesse, it will be a letdown. Because you know we're going to spend the next 3 months spinning all the wild theories about what happened to this guy while Billy is leading us toward sniffing out the secret. And from the previews for next week, it looks like Billy will go to Ray, a Genoa City cop, to try to implore him to investigate a crime that happened in Italy. That makes total sense, right? No. I mean, we all know this is just fuel. The whole Jesse thing is fuel for the Billy and Adam feud. Toss Ray in there to add even more of a fire. It's the Billy and Adam feud. We've been in it for so long. It's more Billy-Adam feud. But I'd like to ask you guys this week, whose side are you on? I mean, if you have to pick one of these guys to root for, who would it be? Do you root for Adam or are you rooting for Billy? That is our poll question for this week at yrchat.com. The Y&R writers just love the Adam versus Billy rivalry. I think they must see it as the next generation Victor versus Jack. Like, Adam is Victor's son, continuing on that lineage, and Billy is Jack's brother. So we have to have a Newman and an Abbott feuding in order for it to be The Young and the Restless, I guess. I mean, I can see where the thought process is. I mean, like Victor and Jack, Adam and Billy are never gonna like each other. They're never gonna get along. There's plenty of reasons for them to dislike each other. But now in this century, instead of fighting on the platform of Newman Enterprises versus Jabot, Billy and Adam are fighting in the Newman Media versus Chancecom space. They've got these competing media companies, which is also is kind of an interesting evolution. Like, it's gone from who can pull the biggest corporate coup to now who can get the biggest news scoop. Billy said like 3 times this week, we need to be the ones to get the story so we can control the narrative. We have to control the narrative. He said it a lot this week. And I kept thinking, wow, how very current of him. It really does seem like an evolution of that Jack and Victor rivalry. It's just in a different space now. Well, Billy ultimately decided that he was going to give Ashland and Victoria the wedding gift of deleting Gaines's confession video that was given to him. And he didn't do it because he loves Ashland Locke all of a sudden. He did it because he wanted to keep the peace with Victoria. But remember, Gaines told Billy that he was going to the rest of the media in 1 hour. If Billy didn't publish the story, then he was going to go to the rest of the world. So now the countdown has passed. Why no story? Where's the story? Which begs the question, what happened to Gaines? Well, since Billy paid a duffel bag full of cash to this guy, he really wants to know the full story. So he goes searching for answers, and Victor stonewalls him. But it's not just the average Victor stonewall. Victor was very threatening toward Billy, and Victor told Billy that he needs to get out of the media business or Victor will ruin him. He will ruin Chancecom. And yeah, we've heard all of that before in varying degrees. But the difference this time is Adam's on board with it. Phyllis and Nick spent the entire Tuscany trip arguing. Nick's mad that Victor is back to his old tricks. Nick is mad that Victor's supporting Ashland. And Nick's also mad that he got left out of the family loop, kind of in favor for Adam. So Nick has been doing a lot of grumping all week, all around the palazzo. And Phyllis, in response to that, has been doing a lot of leaning on Jack. Literally leaning on Jack, practically snuggling with him in the room that she's sharing with Nick in Tuscany, with the door open. Of course, Sally Spectra was going to walk by, and Sally Spectra, bless her heart, she never misses an opportunity. Sally snaps a photo of that snuggle session. That's what I'm going to call it. It seemed a little snuggly to me. Sally snaps a photo of the snuggle sesh. But she does not reveal it right away. I like that about her. Sally says, I'm going to keep this on my phone, and I'm going to use it when the time is right. That's fun. So we've got a ticking time bomb that's going to be ready to go off maybe in the next week or 2 weeks. I don't know. Will Sally go directly to Nick and show him the photo, or will Sally use it as blackmail against Phyllis? There's a lot of places we can go with that. I love it. Oh, I mean, ultimately, though, I think Phyllis is going to be able to expose explain it, kinda. I think that photo might just, kind of be something that she can brush off, but it also might be enough to make a small, kind of non-existent problem all of a sudden become a big problem for Nick and Phyllis. Phyllis did seem to have some self-awareness when she was talking it all through with Jack this week, that there really should not be a problem between her and Nick. They should be in the greatest time of their lives right now. And that drives me crazy because I'm a Nick and Phyllis fan. I really enjoy their light-hearted romance. Everything about them has just been fanciful and fun and just adorable to watch, and hot and sexy too. But I do understand both of their positions. On the one hand, I'm like, this is just a problem that's been created out of thin air. But I do also understand that Nick is going through something right now. He's mad at his dad for favoring Ashland, which, by the way, is something that Nick and Jesse actually do have in common. But Nick also he wants to go through what he's going through, but he doesn't want Phyllis to use this as a situation where she can rip into the family. Like, yeah, my family are a bunch of jerks, but they're my jerks. And Jack had a really good illustration of that with Phyllis. What if I started talking smack about Nick? You would defend Nick. And so that's really what's going on there. But for Phyllis's part, I think Phyllis is just saying the things that she's been feeling all along. Phyllis has always been very clear about her opinion of the Newmans, and she hasn't wavered on that. She really just sees it as validation of her opinion of the Newman family. Aside from the fact that I don't want to see the end of Nick and Phyllis, I want to keep being on the fun train with Nick and Phyllis, I think the thing that bothers me most about the conflict that's going on between them right now is that every time Nick gets put into the angry dude role, he loses me. He becomes so much less appealing to me. I really strongly prefer funny Nick, romantic Nick, lighthearted Nick, joking around Nick, not punching things Nick. Like, Dark Horse Nick never really works. Yet here it is. And I'm really afraid that this is going to be the end of Phyllis and Nick. I have put my toothpick into the center of this, and it has come out clean. I have a feeling that Phyllis and Nick are done. Nick's going to see that photo eventually in one way or another, and even if he doesn't blow up over it, I could see him starting to push her away, and he's going to do that right at the time where she's got this chemistry going on with Jack. I think Phyllis is going to reunite with Jack here in the near future, and I just bet that we're going to see Nick and Sharon growing close again. Like, Nick and Sharon are going to have some bonding to do now that Noah is back in town. It just really feels like Jack and Phyllis are on the path, and Nick and Sharon are on the path. Nick was confiding in Sharon on Friday about his family troubles, and maybe Sharon will be singing a different tune than Phyllis does when it comes to all of that. Maybe Nick will find a way to appreciate Sharon's view on it a little more than Phyllis's, and that will also make them grow closer together. Do you guys remember the closing coffee house scene that we had a couple of weeks ago where Nick and Sharon were closing the coffee house together, and it was late at night, and there was this music playing over the background, and they seemed so intimate in a way. They knew each other very well, and at the time, that scene to me seemed a little out of place because we hadn't been getting a lot of Nick and Sharon. But now, in retrospect, that was the beginning of Nick starting to question his relationship with Phyllis, and it's starting to seem a little bit like foreshadowing that Nick and Sharon might have a reunion. Well, What does that have to leave for Sharon and Ray, you ask? What about Ray, you ask? Well, I think Sharon and Ray's relationship will hold strong until Chelsea comes back. I think we're going to see a lot of the same patterns that we had with Sharon and Adam start to play out with Ray and Chelsea. I think Ray is going to be very defensive of Chelsea. He's going to want to tell everyone that Chelsea deserves the second chance. I think it's very much going to parallel the way that Sharon has been defensive of Adam and arguing that Adam deserves the second chance. And I think through all of this, wow, maybe, just maybe, Ray is going to find himself falling in love with Chelsea. Chelsea's got to do something. I think I saw an article this past week that Melissa Claire Egan is back on set. I don't think I dreamed that up, but I want to say she's back on set, and that means that Chelsea is going to need a place. She's going to need multiple places. And maybe it is with Ray, but maybe there's a little something else that Y&R has planned for Chelsea too. Michael innocently shows Lauren some social media photos from Victoria's wedding, and that's when Lauren realizes that Victoria is not wearing her designer's dress, but instead, it's a Sally Spectra original. She was furious. She was absolutely furious. She marched right up to Kevin and Chloe, practically with smoke rolling off of her. And at first, she tried getting Chloe to be mad at Sally right alongside her. Like, she wanted Chloe to feel betrayed by what Sally did. But Chloe had to admit that she knew about Sally's plan, and not only that, but she participated in it too. Chloe tried to play it off by saying, we're just a couple of small designer gals. We're small-time designers. We're trying to launch a fashion website in this overcrowded industry. But Lauren's got lots of designers and lots of clients and lots of money and resources. So no harm done. But Lauren did not like that answer. It's something Lauren just feels personal about. She feels personally betrayed by all of this. And yet she can somehow learn to forgive Chloe. I guess because Chloe's family and she knows she's going to be stuck with Chloe forever. But with Sally, it's a different story. This is the second time that Lauren feels she's been burned by Sally Spectra. So something's gotta be done, says Lauren. But what? Well, once again, we gotta remember Chelsea's coming back. And Chelsea is going to need a place. So what better place for Chelsea than Fenmore's, which will set up a rivalry. It will be Chelsea and sometimes Lauren at Fenmore's versus Sally and sometimes Chloe at Newman. Chelsea versus Sally. That's where all of this is leading. That's why Lauren is so furious, because she's setting up the next rivalry. Oh, that's going to be fun, too. Chelsea versus Sally's going to be fun. I think we're going to see Lauren fade into the background, and I also think we're going to see Chloe fade into the background. Chloe really only came to prominence back on the show after Melissa Claire Egan left on her maternity leave. So in some ways, I've always felt that Chloe is just keeping Chelsea's seat warm. But once Chelsea gets back, I think she's going to be on the reformation train. I think she's going to be telling everyone that she has changed, and she's going to be asking for a second chance. which means she's going to need a job. She's going to need a direction. She's going to need a focus. And she's not going to want to work at Newman with Chloe under Adam. I mean, Chelsea has already told Chloe she doesn't want to work at Newman. And we saw a very brisk conversation between Adam and Chelsea this week. Well, it was a one-sided conversation, but clearly Chelsea's not happy with Adam. She ain't going to want to work with him. And she is especially not going to want to work with him when she finds out what's going on between him and Sally. Lauren is going to be in Chelsea's ear, telling Chelsea all about what a bad seed Sally is. And I'm sure Phyllis will find a way to chime in on that too. That is all only going to make Chelsea more mad. She's already mad at Adam. Chelsea's gonna be more mad at Adam, if that's even possible, after everything that she did early in the year. And let's add another layer on top of that. Chelsea is not gonna want to let Sally anywhere near her ace student son. Connor's obviously doing so well in math. He's in an accelerated course now. Chelsea is not gonna want Sally around her kid. Oh, it's gonna be good. You better believe it's gonna be Chelsea versus Sally in business, but you better believe it is also gonna be personal. Adam's not emotionally ready for a relationship with Sally. He said he's not emotionally ready. Man, is there any way that you could get ready, Adam? Could you accelerate that? Because I could really go for another one of those makeout sessions, okay? Now, there was a flashback that was worth flashing back to. It was late at night, and the wedding party was dying down. Everybody was a little tipsy. Adam and Sally had been missing each other all night. Adam's been off murdering someone for Victor. I'm sorry, but I also love the idea that Adam just slips down to the cellar, murders a guy, and then comes back upstairs and is just not shaken at all. He even shows up to breakfast the next day, has some orange juice. But whatever it was Adam was doing, it pulled him away from his real priorities. Pulled him away from what his real priorities should have been, which was making out with Sally. Oh, and so Sally's feeling a little alone since her date, it seemed, abandoned her. But Sally Spector is never one to give up. She goes knocking at Adam's bedroom door. And he's lying in bed, getting ready to just have a drink and wind down. And he yells out, "Who is it?" And then Sally doesn't even answer. The girl just opens up the door. And she has this look on her face. Like, you know exactly what she wants. And they start to talk about Sally's dress victory. But she says to him, you know, honestly, the only person I am interested in winning over right now is you. And they start to kiss. And then the kissing turns to making out. And then the making out moves over by the bed. And it's looking like some clothes are going to go flying off any second now. Maybe ripped off any second now. And then Adam stops it. Oh, he says, "I'm not ready for this." Adam is so dramatic. "I'm not ready for this." And he just doesn't want to, go through with a one-night stand and then wake up in the morning regretting what they're about to do. He is so thoughtful. Oh, he seems to get Sally's number, and he knows that she wants more than a one-night stand from him. But, wow, rather than going for the immediate gratification and then ending up cold and distant with her later, Adam has the presence of mind to call it all off right then and there. Which also just ends up making him more attractive to Sally, and which also just makes me want it more. Though we did not see the reception, I really liked that we had the illusion of the reception. Victoria and Ashlyn just kind of walked off the side of the screen as the cameras were flashing on them, and we could hear the applause in the background, and then we didn't really see what happened in the party room. We were just told that they were cutting the cake. We were told that Leslie Brooks caught the bouquet. And, even though, yeah, it would have been nice to see all of that, I think we had bigger business to attend to. So instead, we just ended up following the party guests to and from the reception. And yet we could hear all of the party music and the party ruckus going on in the background over the scenes in the main house, which was the important part. The main scenes in the main house was the important part, and we just kept hearing the sounds of the party in the background. I really thought that technique totally worked. It sounded like that party was hopping. But we needed to have our private conversations out in the main house where it was quiet and so that the audience could hear. I thought that was a cool trick, and I liked it. Oh. And then the very next morning, we were treated to the farewell breakfast. Oh, what a beautiful spread. I loved the way the camera shot it from just above the table, and everyone was there in the Newman family. Well, no. Everyone in the Newman family was there minus Nick. It was minus Nick plus Adam. Adam sitting right next to Nikki. At the table. Oh yes, they're just going to become closer and closer, I can tell. I mean, it was a step in the right direction. Adam saved the wedding by doing something. We're not going to say what, but he saved the wedding for Victoria by doing something to Jesse Gaines, and Billy will be on the hunt for that answer for us relentlessly for weeks and weeks and weeks, so buckle yourself in, but don't get too excited. Don't get too excited, because it isn't going anywhere. We'll be on the journey, but it won't be going anywhere. Oh, but when it was time to go, I felt real sad. I had a sense of packing up, for vacation. When you have to pack your bags, that's always, it's like you've had a great time, but it's always kind of sad. And we actually saw people packing their bags and saying goodbye. Everybody but Nick needed to go back to Genoa City. Nick decided he was going to take a day break. He was going to go to London and not deal with the Newman family drama for a whole day. Side note, Nick should know all about the Newman family drama and dealing with it by now. I don't know why any of this is coming as a surprise to him at this point. But he decided he needed a moment, so he flew to London with Noah, leaving poor Phyllis to fly home on the Abbott family school bus with Jack. Yeah, one by one, everybody just got onto their private jet and flew away. And I thought it was a really great closer that we had a final scene of Victoria and Ashlyn standing on that beautiful terrace, that signature terrace, and they were just loving each other, newlywed, and kissing and having a moment. And so I just want to make sure that I take one more moment to applaud Y&R for our Italian vacation. I mean, those guys went all out. It was everything that was promised. It was the grand wedding that we were promised and more. Ooh, as soon as I saw Dominic's nanny on screen, I was prepared and kind of excited for a conflict. The way that woman had her hand on her hip, I really thought that she was going to throw up some kind of a roadblock for Mariah, but no. Mariah just breezed right past the gatekeeper. That could have been some good drama. But then later also, Mariah was reading a book to Dominic, and Abby walked in, and there was this shot of Abby looking curiously on at Mariah, Abby not knowing that Mariah was even going to be in her home when she got home. And I really thought Abby was going to be upset about it, but no, also no, much to my surprise. And honestly, to Abby's credit, she seemed totally okay with it. And I really liked that Abby made an attempt to clear the air with Mariah. Abby said to Mariah, I don't want things to be weird. Things got weird and I don't want that. You are welcome here anytime. I don't need your breast milk anymore though, okay? I'm sorry if that's hard for you, but this is my decision. All right, Abby, I think that's reasonable. And, in all of this jumbled mess, I do think that Abby had good intentions. I don't think she had malicious intentions. And she proved to me this week that she's not trying to squeeze Mariah out. I mean, I had thought that maybe Abby didn't like there being any kind of competition for the motherly role when it came to Dominic, but I don't get that sense now. I really think that Abby has just been trying to respect Mariah's wishes and to go at Mariah's speed. I mean, Abby's been pretty nice and pretty patient with Mariah. Abby already told Mariah once that she didn't want any more breast milk, and Mariah just ignored that and kept on pumping. She just said, la, 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 la. Oh, yeah, it's tough. I think Abby really genuinely does see Mariah and Devon as friends. I don't think she's intentionally using them in any way, even if that is the effect. But I think Abby really wants their support, and I think she also really wants to support them, and she's gonna really need some support for herself, especially now more than ever. Of course, it was nice to see some other members of Abby's family providing some support this week. We had Ashley in her cute little side ponytail braid. Trend alert. Side ponies. We had Ashley in a side pony braid, a braided side pony, and then we also had Sharon in a classic side pony this week. So hence my look for the week. I always look for a little bit of fashion inspiration each week when I go to dress myself for Y&R Chat, and this week I said, oh yes, side pony. Oh. But yes, Abby did have some support from her mother this week, and maybe now that Jack's back and Victor's back, everybody's back from Italy, maybe Abby will get some more support from her family. But we know that where the drama lies is with Abby needing support from Mariah and Devon. Oh, but the more that Mariah insists how much she's doing better, the more concerned I feel about her, because she confessed, only for Bowie's ears this week, that she's worried she and Tessa are not on the same page about their future. But, I don't know, from my perspective, they are. Tessa didn't say no kids. Tessa just said, I don't want kids right now. It's not right for me right now. But Mariah wants a kid right now. even though she's declaring to everyone that she's made some decisions. Ooh, that sounds ominous. Mariah's going around saying she's made some decisions. Well, Mariah's very good at making decisions for herself, isn't she? But all right, she did apologize to Tessa this week for pressuring Tessa to start a family. I mean, that wasn't fair at all, especially the pressuring part. That wasn't right. Mariah's not wrong for her feelings, but she was wrong to pressure Tessa to go along with it. And of course, Tessa, who is just like leaps and bounds more charming each episode. Her smile, her laugh, she's just the most adorable little doll in the doll house. And of course, she was just absolutely gracious in accepting Mariah's apology. Tessa could not have been more loving and understanding of Mariah's position and what Mariah has been through in her trauma and her PTSD. And they ended the week looking strong. But I know that Mariah's desire to start a family didn't just go away. It didn't just escape into thin air. Mariah may not have been successful in convincing Tessa to have a baby, and Mariah may have known well enough what's good for her to not destroy her relationship to get that. But now that Chance has been exploded to bits, Mariah is probably going to think that Bowie needs her more than ever. So, I mean, Mariah is going to be all in on Dominic while Abby is grieving, so Abby will probably accept the help. I mean, for crying out loud, Abby has already given Mariah permission to come and go whenever she wants. But it's all the same obstacle for Mariah. It's just the obstacle has moved beneath the surface, and now Mariah has a vehicle with which to continue to have contact with Bowie, which continues to prevent her from fully separating. I don't know. I mean, there's going to be that just beneath the surface, and then I think Mariah and Tessa are, well, kind of obviously going to end up finding themselves with a new obstacle, namely Noah. Oh, sweet anticipation. That was a sweet moment, wasn't it? Last week, Ashland and Victoria were getting ready to part the last time they were going to see each other before the ceremony, and Ashland tried to go in for a kiss, but Victoria said, no, the next time you kiss me, it will be at our wedding. We will be being pronounced man and wife. And he said, oh, sweet anticipation. I love that. I just thought that was a fun little line. Henry, Daisy, Sandra, Keisha, Doreen, Tina, Brittany, Heather, Sharita, Juanita, Naomi, Sue W, and Kamna. You guys all guessed it right. Good job. Well, how about this nice short little line? Who said this? Havoc can be overrated. Not in daytime, but in real life, perhaps. Havoc can be overrated. Who said it? If you think you know, go to yrchat.com to leave your guess. And if you get it right, I will give you your shout out during next week's Y&R Chat. And speaking of yrchat.com, here are a few of my outstanding comments from the week that I can't wait to share with you. Starting with Victoria, who says, what a rare occasion to see a Newman family breakfast. Victor, Nikki, Victoria, and Ashland looked very casual and comfortable, chatting with each other. Ashland has been welcomed into the family. They were lamenting that their time in Tuscany is over, and I'm lamenting it too. Yes, it did seem like a real end of a chapter, didn't it? And I'm lamenting it too. It's like, vacation is over and we're gone back to Genoa City. But, you know, we did bring a not-so-new character home with us. Last week, I asked you guys how you're feeling about new Noah. You liking him? You not liking him? And wow, What a resounding answer. 87% of people on week 1 are liking new Noah. That has got to be some kind of record. The fans have taken to this new Noah in record speed. Only 13% saying they don't like him. But, you never know. Sometimes characters can grow on you, and sometimes they don't. And sometimes you can start out liking a character and then change your mind. But I just think this is a very interesting first blush poll question. And just what a great testament to the actor that people warmed up to him so quickly. But I think it probably also does have to do with the chemistry of the people that he worked with on screen. I mean, we saw him with Tessa. We saw him with Nick and Sharon. We saw him with Mariah. We saw him with all the people that the character of Noah should be interacting with, and still people seem to love him. Keisha says, I love him. The look on his face when he turned around and saw Tessa, it reminded me of the first time when Nick saw Sharon. I hope this Noah sticks around. I wanted him with Lola, but since that's out of the question, they could pair him with someone else. Maybe Imani? Or maybe even Tessa, ONS perhaps. Could she end up being pregnant? I know about that. I do like, I kind of like the idea of Imani too. That's a good one. Yeah. Oh, and Lola got mentioned this week too, twice. This is 2 Lola mentions in 1 week. Abby's cook tried to quit on her, but it's been real hard to find good help since Lola left. But, also Keisha. So when you looked at Noah seeing Tessa for the first time, it reminded you of Nick seeing Sharon for the first time. Okay, first of all, do you really remember the first time that Nick saw Sharon? That's awesome. I wish I had that memory like emblazoned into my mind. I don't remember the first time Nick saw Sharon, but gosh, I wish I did. But then also it almost does seem like, okay, Nick and Sharon, it's another little bit of a cue that there's like maybe they can be there to usher Noah through a love issue since they've had so many of their own, and maybe they fall in love in the process. I don't know. But Tina Cole says, I love new Noah based on first impressions. I usually take some time to warm up to a recast or a new character, but I felt pretty instantly that I like this version of Noah and am enjoying the actor. I'm so excited to see where his version of the character goes. And I also think it's important to bring Noah back because we lost Summer and Kyle, and we need more characters in that age group. Yeah, good point. I mean, I think we saw a little preview of that age group too. I'm not sure Adam exactly fits in, but we did see a little scene of like Adam and Noah and Sally, and I think maybe they were even sitting around with Summer and Kyle. But yeah, Noah definitely fits in there to the age group with Sally, Tessa, and yeah, I mean, we need more. You're right. I mean, I could definitely be happy if both Summer and Kyle returned. Diane K says, I like the new Noah. He's close in looks to the previous Noah, so it's easy to make the connection. I love the chemistry that he has with Nick already, and Nick's face lit up when Noah walked into the room, as if they'd known each other their whole lives. Yeah, and they would have. Yeah, it's great that translated for you. I mean, I think that's really true, and that's just that's a good cast. I mean, there's some credit also that goes to the people on Y&R who do the casting. Someone made a good decision there. Victoria though says new Noah is okay. He has such a different vibe than Robert Adamson. Robert Adamson was warm and gullible. This Noah seems to have a cool, standoffish vibe. For example, I can't see this Noah falling for Marissa. Hopefully they'll create a legacy storyline for the younger Newman set. The messier the better. I'm sure this actor will grow on me as Noah. Yeah. Let's see. Actually, here's another comment from Sherrod that Sherrod is seeming to say that the Noah and Nick, the actor who plays Noah and the actor who plays Nick, maybe had some prior interaction. The actor had auditioned with Joshua Morrow a while back for a role. Sherrod says, I won't say the role he went out for, but a little hint, he didn't get the part, according to the actor, because he believed the producers didn't like his singing voice. Oh, well, that's a nice little brain teaser there, Sherrod. So maybe the chemistry between Nick and Noah is there because the actors really hit it off, but he didn't get cast in a different role because the producers didn't like his singing voice. Who is a singing male on the show? Oh, who could it be? Oh, I'm the worst. Why can't I think of it? Well, I mean, yeah, Noah is an artist, though, too, so maybe we'll still get to hear some of his singing voice. Pretty sure Noah played the guitar at one point, right? Or am I thinking of someone else? But, gosh, okay, well, so if Sherrod doesn't want to tell me who the musical character was that I just can't come up with right now, maybe somebody else won't mind spoiling that secret. I gotta know, who would it have been that he was considered for playing in the past? Oh, well, Robbie says, I really, really, really like this new Noah, but I'm just torn with how he fits in the current storylines. The writers always struggle with the Noah character. Is he just coming in to add more problems for Mariah and Tessa? If this results in more screen time for the couple, then I'm totally on board. Yeah, I think that's a really good point, Robbie, that the writers have struggled with Noah. I don't exactly know why. We've had a couple of different adult-ish Noahs. We had Robert Adamson, but we had an actor previous to him that I really liked and connected with. He was more of a sporty guy, and then Robert Adamson was maybe more of an artistic guy, and now we're going in seeming like a deeply artistic direction with this new Noah, but you just never know. I mean, recasting the role really opens it up to a lot of different possibilities, like this. Superplex asks, is this new Noah gay? Well, that's a possibility too, Superplex. I hadn't even thought about it, but Nick and Sharon were certainly grilling him this week about his possible romantic issues that have driven him out of London. Is it something like that? Or, yeah, I don't know. Could it? But we're all kind of like thinking, oh, who's the girl? Because we know Noah dated, has all that we know of dated women, but it's certainly a possibility that maybe he's found himself as gay while he was away in London, and that's something that he'll be addressing with Nick and Sharon. Now, there wouldn't really be any guys on the canvas I can think of right now that maybe could be a match for him, but you guys can think of that if you want, and maybe give me some ideas if you think that's the case. Who could Noah potentially be paired with? Well, gay or straight, or men or women, who do you think would make the best match for new Noah? Well, Gary says, I don't want to get into a big analysis, but I will say it's inconceivable to me that Tessa will not be carrying Noah Newman's child in the near future. Yes, that seems like it almost seems that would be the direction to go, knowing that Mariah wanted Tessa to have this baby so badly, and then something happens where Tessa and Noah fall into bed together, as you do. You just accidentally have sex. You fall into sex with someone. She gets pregnant, and there's a whole lot of drama there. I mean, that's not out of the realm of possibility either. It almost seems like that would be the most logical storyline trajectory, but these writers aren't always they're not always on what would be the most logical storyline trajectory. Well, Sherrod says, I think that Mariah is saying all the right things, but it's not real. If Mariah had a true breakthrough, then she would have communicated with Tessa while she was away. She would have either met her at the airport. That excuse about the plane arriving early was just an excuse. Or at least Mariah would have at least been home when Tessa got there. But she was off seeing the baby. And then to give Tessa's gift to the baby and needing to go right back again to the house. Also, that was Tessa falling in love all over again, not Mariah. I need a breakup, maybe by November sweeps. Ooh, let me say that last part again. That was Tessa falling in love all over again, but not Mariah. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I think so, too. I think Mariah is covering up big time. It's clear that Tessa's priority is Mariah, but it's not clear that Mariah's priority is Tessa. And I think you're right. Mariah is saying all of the things that she thinks that people want to hear of her, but I don't believe it. I don't buy it. I don't think that Mariah's problems just went away overnight and now she is totally fine. I just don't buy it. Well, Daisy says about Abby and Chance, I'm hoping that they are just saying that Chance might be dead so that the door can be opened for Abby and Devon to get together. And of course, Devon will ensure that his status is changed to the legal father of Dominic, and after some time passes, Chance is declared deceased. Then Abby and Devon become a couple, raising their son and planning the wedding. But then, never giving up hope, and through much investigation, Jill discovered that Chance did not die. He's been in a hospital recovering from serious injuries. And when found, Chance is just starting to wake up and is asking for his wife and child. Ooh, Daisy, you must be a soap writer. That is so good. I think you're absolutely right. The writers decided to put the pause on this because it does seem like Abby and Devon are going to hook up. I don't know what that means for Amanda. I mean, we saw in the previews for next week, she is going to be asked to testify against Sutton. Maybe she will do that. Maybe that will unearth some feelings in her that ultimately end up causing a problem for she and Devon. Maybe Devon will disagree with her decision either way, if she will or will not do that. But I love your idea that Abby and Devon will just start to get close when, boom, what do you know, Chance is still alive. You know, I didn't focus too terribly much time on Chance's presumed dead thing this week because it's so much whatever. I mean, if they were going to make Chance presumed dead, they could have done it in February. You know, I've already said all my things and had all my feelings about the Chance thing. The fact that they're just like, oh yeah, and he's presumed dead. I mean, let's wait. Oh, Allie, don't do it. But let's wait. I mean, what is it, 8 months now before just giving the blow off writing excuse of he's presumed dead? Fine, it's fine. But why didn't you do it in February? Why did you string us along for 8 months on it? I don't know if they're waiting for the baby to get here because their plan all along had something to do with Abby and Devon. I don't know. I cannot get into the headspace of the decision making behind this and the whole Chance thing. I don't know. Is it possible that they were trying to recast the role of Chance, but maybe there were some legal hoops they were needing to jump through? I'm sure that since they just went and fired the actor out of his contract, I mean, maybe they wanted to recast it and found legally that they couldn't do so. Maybe Danny the Johnny B threatened to sue. I don't know. That's entirely speculation. I'm just wondering. I'm trying to find a reason. I'm trying to find some kind of logical reason as to why they wouldn't just resolve this a long time ago. So you're just gonna have to forgive me if I'm not particularly wowed by the reveal that Chancellor is presumed dead, because we all saw it coming 8 months ago. New topic so that I don't lose my mind. Ellen says, is Sally a credible threat to the CEO of Fenmore's? Really? I thought Sally was a nobody, an annoying little gnat. Now she's Lauren's target, and somehow Chloe is golden, not also to blame for the terrible sin of offering an alternative wedding gown to Victoria. It's ridiculous. Lauren is blowing all of this way out of proportion. Victoria made her choice. Chloe probably should have given Lauren a heads up, but she didn't. Move on, Lauren. You're the CEO of a very successful company. Have some dignity. Or let's get messy. But don't throw a hissy fit if Sally, Chloe, and Adam play rough in response to any moves that you make. Oh, that's pretty good. I just totally see it as plot driven. I can just see right through it. I know they're using Lauren because she's going to wind Chelsea up and then hire Chelsea because it's all going to be about Chelsea versus Sally. I don't think Lauren, I mean, you're right, in reality, should not feel threatened at all by Sally. And on top of it, if Lauren's going to be mad at anybody, she should be mad at Chloe. Lauren should maybe expect some loyalty from Chloe, not Sally. I mean, this is totally like Sally as a designer. That's business. Chloe is Lauren's sister-in-law. That's family. It's like, it's the opposite. Lauren should be mad at Chloe and understanding of Sally because it's all fair play. But no, that's not the case. I think Lauren just feels like she must just feel like she gave Sally a chance, went out of her way to help her by giving her the assistant job, by letting Sally become her assistant. She did her a favor, and she feels betrayed that Sally would undermine her in this way. I mean, I guess that's reasonable, but Jamie says, I love me some Lauren, but she's behaving like a petty, self-absorbed, mean girl, a la the classic teen movie trope. It's not a good look for a supposedly mature, upper-crust lady. Miss Lauren, you were bested in business. Grow up and get over it. Even Superplex says, I love you, Lauren, but in this occasion, you are wrong. Competition owes you nothing but to challenge you. Superplex, did you make that quote up, or is that a well-known quote? My gosh, competition owes you nothing but to challenge you. That is so good. Oh, I love that. And you're right. I mean, after all these years in business, Lauren should be able to recognize that that's what it is. And I'm not exactly sure why she took it so personal, other than I guess maybe if she felt that she gave Sally the assistant's job because of personal, or I mean, I don't know, and the other jobs too, I'm not sure. But gosh, that's true. It's all business, and Lauren is certainly flaming over it. Oh, well, Naomi says, I loved Sally's reaction to Jack and Phyllis. She took some quick pictures and then moved on. Her facial expressions were saying it all. She's my new favorite person to watch, and I also liked her last scene with Adam. Can't wait for Adam to shove Sharon to the side. Oh, yes. This is great. I'm glad you brought this up, Naomi, because I've been wondering, how do the Chatham fans feel about Adam and Sally? I don't know if this version of Chatham has not quite worked for me the way I wish it would, because I've been a Chatham fan in the past. But I was wondering, the people who were really, really hoping that Sharon and Adam were going to reunite, and it's like we've been strung along thinking that's going to happen for so long. How do you guys feel that it took kind of a strong, sharp right turn into Adam and Sally instead? I mean, does that, are you still rooting for Adam and Sharon, or are you okay taking a little side jaunt onto Adam and Sally? Although, I don't know, I could see Adam and Sally having some staying power. Ellen has an alternate idea, though, saying, let's have Sharon shove boring, controlling Ray to the side and have a messy Sally, Adam, Sharon triangle. Ray can pick up the pieces with Chelsea. He likes prisoners, apparently. Ooh, a scathing review of Ray, but this is a really good answer to my question. Maybe the Chatham fans are rooting for the Sally, Adam, Sharon triangle. I mean, that could be kind of fun too. Well, let's talk about Nick here. Sharita says, Phyllis's tantrums are so annoying. Why is it that she always has a problem when she's not the center of attention? Why are you complaining again to Nick about Victoria? Nick is also being a pouty crybaby about Adam being in the loop before him. But when doesn't Victor play favorites? I could be down for a Nick and Chelsea reunion. I'm over Vic. Oh, I didn't think about that. Sharita. Oh, Nick and Chelsea. Yeah, Chelsea's gonna need a love, but boy, just seems like Ray would be the logical pick there, but I didn't even think about that. Nick and Chelsea never have really worked for me. I would definitely prefer Nick and Sharon reunion if I have to pick. I mean, it's kind of like, okay, if Nick and Phyllis have to break up, I will accept a Nick and Sharon reunion, but Sharita doesn't like Vic. I think you're gonna get your wish. T. Nicole says, I do think that Nick is creating a bigger issue of this whole Ashland and Jesse Gaines conflict. He got the information about Ashland and it's not on great terms with Victoria, but just apologize and move on. I can understand slightly Nick's perspective, as Victor did ask Nick to watch Billy and report back to him, and now Victor made Adam his go-to guy in the situation. But Nick should just let it all go and be happy to be less involved with this situation as he can be. What Nick should have been is a shoulder for Victoria to vent or lean on if she found out about Ashland's secrets down the road by either herself or someone else, such as Billy. I also loved when Phyllis said to Nick that Victoria is a strong, powerful woman who's more than capable to take care of herself. She can decide for herself to marry this guy. If Nick felt iffy about Ashland, he could just visit and check up with Victoria more as bonding moments to make sure she's okay. Yeah, T. Nicole, I mean, Nick and Victoria had a really good bonding moment right before all of this started. He went over to her house and she admitted to him that she had some questions about Ashland's past, and that's the point where he really just took it too far. You're absolutely right. I mean, in reality, Nick should have been there just continuing to support Victoria instead of really trying to drive forward a result on it, like as if Victoria's not someone who can make her own decisions. Well, yeah, you know, and that's the other thing. Why did Victor cut Nick out of the loop? He explained it by saying, I didn't think you wanted to be involved in it. I thought I was doing a favor because you were having so much trouble with Victoria. I didn't want to involve you in anything having to do with Jesse Gaines that might cause some backlash for you. I wanted you to just be able to come to Italy and focus on your relationship with your sister, which is exactly what Nick should have done. But Adam handled it, and Ellen says, are we supposed to buy that Adam are we supposed to buy Adam as some kind of hitman for Victor? Why? What has Adam ever done to make that believable? He's been reckless, yes, but there are also many heroic things that Adam has done, quite a few lives that he has saved. He's never intentionally killed anyone. And Sharad says, Victor was talking to Adam like he was the head of the mafia, telling him to handle Gaines. Yeah, I don't think Adam killed Gaines. I mean, to me, it just seems like sleight of hand, but really obvious sleight of hand. It didn't occur to me for one single moment that Adam actually went down to the cellar and, like, killed this guy. But, I mean, I guess maybe that's what Billy's gonna believe. Diana says, I wish Adam would remind everyone of all the people's lives he saved, including Victor and Faith 2 times. This should be mentioned each time someone makes a negative comment about him. Yeah, Y&R kind of buries that. It's like they kind of want it both ways. They want Adam as the hero, but they also want him as the villain. Adam never takes the time to defend himself. I was thinking when Noah was talking on Friday with Nick and Sharon, asking about how Mariah was doing, asking about how Faith was doing. He mentioned Faith's bullying situation, but he didn't say word one about the fact that Faith had the kidney transplant, and that Adam was the one who gave her the kidney. Did Noah and Adam talk about that in Italy? I can't remember exactly, but it's like, yeah, what more does Adam have to do to save lives before any of these people will see him as anything other than a scumbag? Oh, yeah. He is certainly a convenient target. I think it just like all goes back to old mistakes. Certain characters, they get their past mistakes kind of swept under the rug, but for some reason it's like Adam has he had the baby swapping thing with Faith, and then he had the thing with Delia, and those just won't go away. They just sit on his character forever, and the writers won't let it go. Gary says, well, Ray will either go after Adam with a vengeance for a murder that he has not committed to the dismay of Sharon, or we will see Ray smart and refusing to bite. Oh, I think this is a very interesting point, because Ray somehow managed to stay completely out of the Ashland's secret identity search. But now that there's something to investigate around Adam, will Ray take the bait? I mean, it almost seems like a foregone conclusion that Ray's gonna love this, that Ray's gonna jump all over this, and then next week we're gonna see Ray pop his head through Adam's office door and start questioning him about it all. But wouldn't it be quite a twist if Ray didn't take the bait? Wouldn't it be quite a twist if Ray said, no thanks? Thanks for the info, but no thanks. Or even just, I'll pass it on. Billy's definitely looking for an ally in Ray, and an ally who he knows dislikes Adam. But Sherrod says, I am so sick of Victor threatening Billy. This has become annoying and tedious. Now he wants to take his company, and Adam is willing to help? They have become the mafia of Genoa City, and I am rooting for Billy. I hope that video is stored in the iCloud so that he can retrieve it and use it against them. Leslie also says, I am not here to see Victor bring the bully punishment. Wait, no, I am not here to see Victor the bully bring his punishment down on Billy. But Victoria says, sorry to disagree. I say bring it on. Billy's meddling has been self-serving and persistent. I can't blame Victor. Yeah, this is interesting. I think we're going to get some interesting conversation around the Adam versus Billy feud this week, because I do think that it's one or the other. You're probably rooting for one or the other, and I'm curious to know which it'll be. Sherrod and Leslie rooting for Billy, maybe, or you're just at least tired of Victor and his threats. Victoria seems to be on Team Adam here. Tony says, I think Billy will be the one to save Victoria from what exactly is unknown, but she is falling and Billy will catch her. Oh, so you think that Billy still has a chance to come out on top of this as the hero. There's something to be found out here, and you think Billy will find it out and save Victoria. Well, Keisha says, I'm starting to wonder if Billy has gone back to chewing gum. Did he do something to Jesse Gaines in an effort to protect Victoria? Well, that's a fun theory, isn't it? That Billy did something to Jesse but can't remember? I like that. Victoria says, I felt bad for Lily when Billy guilted her into going to bed instead of dancing and eating cake. Lily had a joyful tone as soon as she told him how much she was looking forward to having fun, and he made an attempt to go along, but then guilt had already taken over. Once again, Billy had to have it his way to prove that Lily cares about him. What a shame to miss an event which comes around only occasionally. Yeah, Lily wanted to go party, and Billy was like, oh, let's go to bed. Well, Superplex says, Lily is all legs. They shine so bright they can almost literally blind you. Finally, someone mentioned this. I can't believe we've never talked about this before. Lily's legs are so shiny. I would like to know, how can I get my legs to be so shiny? My knees are so dry right now. No, never mind. On second thought, nobody wants to see these legs shine. Oh. Well, Diana says, since the hot topic has been all about Ashland's past and his misdeeds from 40 years ago, I thought I would look into how many times Victoria has been married, out of curiosity. We all know this is far from Victoria's first trip down the aisle. Ashland is husband number 6. In reality, this information would be of extreme importance to a real-life partner, as I'm sure a fiancé would want to know why their partner has been divorced and remarried so many times. Oh, that's so good, Diana. That's a great bit of research. Anytime one of our characters gets married, we should always make it a point to try to find out what number this is. It's number 6 for Victoria. That's hilarious. Yeah, I mean, Victoria has a million skeletons in her closet, too, which would be of interest to Ashland. Oh, but Superplex really wants Ashland's secret to be revealed, the secret about the will fraud. Superplex says this is the only network show that celebrates keeping the masses in the dark concerning the shenanigans of the rich and powerful. Shame on you, Y&R. Oh, Superplex, it never really occurred to me to look at this through like that social political lens. I just never thought about it that way, but that's a fair point. Someone mentioned to me one time that soaps are all about secrets kept and secrets revealed. So yeah, I mean, you're right. No matter what, we should be building toward Ashland's secret being revealed. I think that's a good point. Oh, Y&R viewer 123 says, great news! Pluto TV now has Pluto TV soaps, and they're airing Y&R episodes from season 47, which is 2018, and the next season. Although I was hoping for older episodes from the 90s. Oh, that would be so good. Yeah, 2018. Yeah, because I think you have to have a CBS All Access Pass to get the previous season episodes, but you can watch 2018 and beyond with Pluto TV. I've never heard of that one. Gosh, wouldn't it be great if we could get some old eps, 90s eps, like full episodes of years? Oh, that would be a dream. I would totally be happy to get in a time machine and go back to the 90s and watch some of those episodes. It's kind of funny because, and maybe this also speaks a little bit to Superplex's point. I was going back through Melody Thomas Scott's book this week, and she has a whole chapter on her theory of why soaps had a decline in the 90s. I mean, soaps were like the biggest thing. And then, according to Melody Thomas Scott, the OJ trial happened, and suddenly people who were tuned into TV during the day to watch their soaps suddenly stopped watching soaps and started watching the OJ trial, and they just never came back. It's like, when you are watching soaps, it is habitual. It's something that you really like as part of your daily routine, and Melody was saying she thinks that people's routines just got broken because there was, the OJ trial, and they just never really came back. And when they did come back, it seemed like viewers were more interested in stories that have more to do with news or reality TV drama. Like that OJ trial was like 11 months long or something. It was really long. And that was sort of when the birth of reality TV started happening. People really liked that type of drama, and people really liked news drama and media drama. And so speaking to Superplex's point, but also me thinking about the evolution of the show from being about competing businesses to being about competing media companies, maybe that was more than we realize, a very big change in society that just kind of worked its way through into soaps. I don't know about you, but every day of that OJ trial I was annoyed because I just didn't like having my soaps preempted. I wanted the preemptions to stop. I remember going back to my VCR and trying to get my recording and just no episode again today. I mean, and you knew at a certain point it was never gonna happen. So yeah, I mean, the preemptions during all of that time, it made it also difficult for people to keep watching the show. And after a while, after it just goes on for so long, you just lose the routine of it all. Yeah, I mean, society definitely changed, and yet soaps are still here, and so they definitely had to continue to be flexible and try new types of stories, new types of characters to still try to stay in business. Well, let's end up on a little bit of Halloween talk. Victoria says, Halloween is back at Crimson. I loved the bats on the windows and the Halloween banner behind Chloe. I think I spied some Halloween theme mugs. I hope there are some costumes this year. Yeah, I saw the Halloween mug. I thought that was cute. You know, and speaking of costumes, well, actually, let me read this comment from Diana, because she says last year Halloween was not incorporated into the show. I guess we'll be getting a Halloween party as well, but I'm looking forward to seeing the characters' costumes to discuss the best and worst dressed. It would be fun to try and guess what we think the characters will dress up as. Okay, so going back to the Melody Thomas Scott book, she also said that she doesn't like it when the characters dress up in costumes. And she specifically said there was one year where she dressed up as Mae West. I do remember that. There was another where she was kind of a caped Zorro type figure, and she just really didn't like that. I guess she said that if they were gonna make them dress up, then she wishes that you could pick your character, but in reality, I guess the show just hands you who you're going to be for Halloween this year, and you're just expected to perform it, and I guess she didn't really like that. So I just thought that was kind of an interesting note that I was reading that on the week that we saw Halloween explode on Y&R. And Susan87 says, where can I get the spooky wreath and the happy Halloween banner shown at Crimson Lights? Yeah, no kidding. I mean, no doubt about it. I noticed the spooky wreath. That's for sure. That spooky wreath could be hanging on my door all year round. Okay, chatters. There's another Y&R chat for the books. Y&R Chat too has evolved through time. As the show's changed, what Y&R Chat's changed. As I've changed, Y&R Chat has changed. I mean, everything kind of has to evolve, I suppose. But I'd like to think that Y&R Chat's gotten better. I'd like to think so, at least. But you guys are what makes it better, and I really think that the comments are what makes Y&R Chat better. It wasn't always that way. I didn't always read comments, but you guys and your different perspectives are what really, I think, makes Y&R Chat good and rounded, and you know, hopefully doesn't lean too far one way or the other. I do try really hard to look for opinions that are a little bit different, or if you have sort of an offbeat theory, I do try to pull those. And I hope everybody comes to yrchat.com to leave your comments. If you have something that maybe you think is just not going to be a popular opinion, don't be afraid to come and share it, because you know I can, you know, pull comments and you can pick a username that you know, if you know, no one would know who you are. So if you want to just kind of come and leave your honest comments if you see things a little bit differently, I like that. You know, I want everybody to feel comfortable giving their opinion, whatever it is. And I do, you know, I love getting the positive feedback about Y&R Chat and what my opinion is, but I certainly do look for and appreciate when there's something that's a little bit different. So feel free to use the yrchat.com space to leave your thoughts, and I'll be back next Sunday to give you my thoughts. I love you guys. I hope you have a really good week. Looking forward to Halloween, I hope. But even though Melody Thomas Scott doesn't hope, hope we see some costumes. Bye.